Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pinups and Pinfalls podcast. I'm Talise.
And I'm Kira.
And today we are going to be discussing a few topics that we've picked out. But first, we kind of wanted to talk about the review we did for the Little Bit of Bubbly. That video has been up for a couple days now, and we wanted to kind of talk about what happened after we filmed the video and continued drinking the rest of the bubbly, which was, we finished the bottle, right?
So we enjoyed it. In all honesty, our main goal was to drink and try it out for our review. And then while we were watching AEW Dynamite on New Year's Day, we realized that, we had drank the whole bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were reviewing this episode, we wanted to be able to take notes for our first video. And
those notes got a little sloppy.
And it was pretty funny, actually. More often than not, the notes were like in reference to like our comments about wrestlers, and
they were not useful. Basically, is what she's saying. They became very irrelevant.
Yes. One of the funnier ones that I wanted to go over was Trent's knee pad when he was doing his fight with Moxley. And one of the thoughts was that he was Bill Murray. And then we were like, wait a minute.
About that in the video.
Yeah, in the video.
that made it to the video.
Yeah, that did. But I wanted to kind of expand on it because it's really funny that we had a full-on discussion during the entire match about
it really kind of took over.
If it was George Washington, Bill Murray, or Albert Einstein, because none of us wanted to cheat and look it up. And we were like, man, if he's wore this before, we are just not very observant, because you either get into the matches or, sometimes you don't notice what wrestlers are wearing because they usually sometimes they wear, repetitive outfits. And then other times you're like, is this new or is this just because I'm drunk and I'm noticing it now?
No.
It was just a long, funny discussion. And then we noticed the next morning that we were like, so what happened during the match? So yes, we did have to rewatch a few of the matches.
We did. We were very distracted. We were easily distracted by shiny things and knee pads. And we also wanted to, I guess, thank everybody again, not just for watching the review of a little bit of the bubbly. It's too early to try the voice, and I'm sorry we didn't do it in the actual review video.
Little bit of the bubbly.
I can't. It's too early. But we wanted to thank everybody for watching the video, for commenting, for sharing the video, as well as the first video, the review for Dynamite we did. Just the support that we've gotten from starting this channel just a couple days ago has been tremendous, and we really cannot thank each and every one of you enough. We're trying to keep up with notifications and messages and things like that, so hopefully we don't miss anybody, and we just want everybody to know that we are so appreciative and just grateful.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, absolutely, because one of the things when the idea for this whole concept about me and Talise doing the podcast, the YouTube, the Twitter account, and doing the reviews and, everything wrestling and a few other items that we touch on, was really inspired by my husband. And he even came up with the name Pinups and Pinfalls. And in all honesty, I couldn't find a better way to do something with my best friend and having so much fun. But then you get that ultimate surprise of all of this amazing outpouring
people
of
liking
support.
it.
Yes.
We were not really expecting
No.
people to like what we
Yeah. In all honesty, we assumed, family, friends, local people like we knew would be like, oh, it's pretty good. And I know that there are probably going to be some people who are like, oh, well, just wait. You got to build your following, or just wait. You got to have content. But we really want to show how appreciative we are right from the start.
Right.
People are taking time out of their day to view us, to tweet us, to message us, and to just overall, just show some support in any way. And
that's so hard for me to kind of wrap my brain around already. And I've had messages from people who have watched the videos multiple times.
Yeah.
And I just cannot, in my mind, come to terms with the fact that people are, like you said, taking time out of their day, because I know people are so busy, with work and, if you have kids or, things like that,
just
or things
life
that you want to do on your own.
Yeah.
That people are watching our videos and then taking time to comment, leave feedback, try to help us create better content. It's kind of mind-blowing.
I will have to do a huge shout out to that. Thank you to everyone who has offered to help with our editing skills. If you have viewed our second upload, which was the AEW Homecoming Part 1, we edited that ourselves, and we are complete and
we hate
utter.
To take credit for that, but we have to.
We need to. But I feel like that's the fun part. I feel like in one aspect that it is us growing into what we really want pinups and pinfalls to represent. We want a platform to be able to talk about our likes and our opinions and our discussions and what we really like about wrestling and the other topics we'll touch on. And I really feel like being able to say, hey, we did that from the beginning. And, this is what it looks like now. What is it going to look like, in 30 days from now or, 30 weeks from now? And I like that we are trying it, with absolutely no knowledge, no foreknowledge.
No.
I'll be brutally honest. I didn't even know how you created a YouTube channel. I was like, how do we even upload footage? How do we record footage?
When we say we're green, we are 100%
wet behind the ears, baby.
The greenest at this.
So, it's really bringing to that forefront of this is our baby. Where can we take, what can we do with it? Where are we going to go with it? And, hopefully we're going to really support our local wrestling community. One of our biggest aspects of this is really, helping our local wrestlers. PR is the best way. And, we want to show our support because we've been shown so much support. And then we also want to really dive into, the AEW world. I mean, come on, this year is going to bring amazing matches. I mean, who is going to be signing on to AEW?
I could not be more excited about what 2020, what AEW has in store for this year. I mean, they already started off extremely strong with their first show of the year,
absolutely.
I think. And the sky's the limit for them. And I really think, Cody always says, do the work. And I really fully believe that they are here to do the work. They're here to give us great wrestling, great stories. And I'm just really excited.
I really feel like
it's really early. My voice hates being up.
She's got to take a drink of her coffee now, so I'll jump in. I really feel like, in a sense, they're trying to bring that old school entertainment value back. They want you really interested in the storyline. Not that other companies aren't doing that. That's not to say that. It's basically to say that, they're a brand new company. They're still building their brand. I mean, they have Young Bucks. Young Bucks are on all different forms of social media, building their brand and marketing and their roster. And, they've got their own little video clips for storylines to keep you all enthralled on, what's really going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, Sammy Guevara, who is, streaming constantly.
Doing those vlogs.
Even in the ring.
Yeah. Just gotta get that content.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like they're taking that future aspect of, marketing and public relations and really seeing what they can do to show what the company's doing from the background. A lot of the times with other companies, the background you see is really, I don't want to say scripted, but it really is. But that's not a bad thing, but it's more like what storyline they want you to see. But now I guess with like the future of like the digital era, that you're really seeing, them being like, I'm in my hotel room, we're getting ready for this, and this is what we're going to go do. And you're really seeing a non-scripted view. And I really, really like that we can get into that as well. So kudos to AEW. They are building a beautiful brand and company.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree.
And I'm excited for the roster this year because my fingers are crossed. Marty Skrull is coming on board. I will probably say this in every podcast, so please forgive me.
Well, it took 11 minutes. Less than 11 minutes to bring up Marty.
I know.
You did good, girl.
I know. I try. I really do. But, I'm fingers crossed. Maybe one day he'll hear me and be like, okay, let me give him a call.
It took less time for me to bring up Cody, though.
Yeah. One thing you will notice is we will repetitively talk about our favorite wrestlers. But, who doesn't have their favorite wrestlers? You've got your favorites, and those are the ones that really keep you tied in.
Right. Yeah. And you want to talk about them. You want to talk about what you love and appreciate and respect about them. So, yeah. Bringing him up. Bring up Cody a lot, probably.
One of the other big topics we really want to discuss is the Jericho, when he was asking Jon Moxley to join the Inner Circle.
Yeah, speaking of people we're a big fan of.
Hey, woohoo! Jericho and Moxley. Both of them are amazingly talented wrestlers. Jericho's just built a built-in household name. Absolutely. He's been in the world for, years. Moxley is another one. He has had a lot of different character personas he's built in.
He had a big year in 2019.
Absolutely. And I love his character development in 2019. What he's, trying to go in, and he's creating this loner, this person that has no holds barred. He doesn't want any directive. He doesn't want somebody telling him, you're scripted, this is your character, this is what you're going by. He doesn't want to do that. He won't even come out through an on-ramp. He is like, I'll go in what door I feel like going in, and I love it.
I have always appreciated that kind of character, whether you want to compare him to Stone Cold or not. I feel like
he is Stone Cold-esque, though. He really is.
The kind of bucking against the system and going against the authority and, all of those things. I have always appreciated, even when I was younger, watching Stone Cold. I've always appreciated the people who try to rise up against the authority. I don't want to say the man, but who rise up against the authority, who are trying to keep people in like these little cookie cutter molds, and everything has to be X, Y, and Z because I say so. I really like defiance in a way.
I think it relates to everybody's like inner hood, like inner like angsty teenager, the suppressiveness that you feel like I can take care of myself, I can do what I want. And when you see adults doing that, breaking the mold, like you said, going against who they report to or answer to.
I really get behind people who question the way things are and don't want to continue doing these things just because that's the way it's always been done. So, you have your Stone Colds and your Moxleys and your CM Punks and, people like that who really kind of throw that in everybody's face and just refuse to conform. I really.
And that brings me back to the main point with Moxley answering this next Wednesday coming up, answering Chris Jericho's question in person. I feel like that by him joining with the inner circle, that's going to detract and take away from the character he has building within the company right now. That's not to say that he wouldn't be not a good fit or that he wouldn't be able to be buildable within the inner circle. Absolutely not. Everyone loves a good heel and everyone loves a good bad guy. But
You think Moxley's a heel?
no, just, that bad guy persona. I feel like he's like the anti-hero, like the Deadpool, and I feel like they're loners, they're one-offs. And I feel like he can do and be so much more staying as himself, not joining with a partnership or picking a clique, so to speak. I feel like he will build in and stand true to, like you said, that persona that they have, that it'll just keep growing. And I feel like if he joins with the inner circle, it's going to kind of be absolved and pulled in and absorbed with the inner circle and their mentality and that whole organism itself. So, that's just how I feel. I feel like Moxley needs to stay the lone wolf.
I mean, I think he could accomplish, because Jericho touched on some things that Moxley wants to accomplish, in a way to try to lure and tempt him to join the inner circle. We can help you do these things, as in addition to giving him 49% and a car, which are things I really just don't at all think Moxley is in any way tempted by. But, I think Moxley can accomplish the things that he wants on his own. So I don't think that he is going to join the inner circle. I think he is just going to continue being on his own, and keep coming after that title.
Keep going.
Because that's obviously my suspicion as to why Jericho is even entertaining the idea, and flirting with the idea of having Moxley in the inner circle, is to detract from Moxley wanting to come after the title. He's trying to entice him with other things, I think. And I think Moxley's going to see right through that.
I have to totally agree with you on that point, that I do feel that Jericho's like trying to give him that option of look over here on this side with the shiny little things I'm going to give you. Don't look over here at the hidden smoke screen of everything I'm doing behind the scenes that you're not going to see, that puppet master mentality of I hold all the strings. I want you looking at what I want you to look at, But then again, that's Jericho. I mean, come on, Jericho, like I said, built-in household name. He's got his character. He is very well established and he knows how to play that game.
He's a master of reinvention and just getting a character over. I mean, you look at the things that he got over in WWE. He got a list over. He got scarves over. I mean, the guy got a light up jacket. I mean, there is nothing.
He was like the Michael Jackson of wrestling.
I mean, our first video was a review of a sparkling wine that he created.
Absolutely.
From saying a line that turned into a meme, that turned into a t-shirt, that's turned into a wine. I mean, it turned into our first video.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing the man can't get over. And he's just not only incredibly talented in the ring, on the mic. There's really not many people who have been better than Jericho, in my opinion. He's just, when he calls himself the GOAT, he is not far off. I totally agree with it.
I mean, you guys will know from coming up with next podcast that I am a huge Chris Jericho fan. So I absolutely agree with everything that Talise has been saying, for the main fact that, like I said, like he is just inventive. He's charismatic. He is a public speaker, and he is a master manipulator in situations. He will get you to look at what he wants you to look at. He will get you to move how he wants you to move. But you know what? On the opposite side of that, I feel that Cody can do the same thing. Not as a more like deviant type of way, or a sinister way, but he's more of
not
like
right now, no, but
no,
he's a great heel.
But, Cody has the same mentality of he's built in, he's household, he has that character that he is, the hero that rises to the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one that everyone looks to get things done. But then he also shows that charismatic sweet side, like when he walked into the ring and he had that, case full of money and he gives, $100 to the kid on the sideline, just like the small little one-offs that you see, that I really feel like show that, he is very giving. He is very loyal. And that's why I feel like a lot of people look up to him.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are drawn to him, and you've got the other side of the coin, which is Jericho. And I feel like that's why they make like the best competitors against each other, because they both have like these just two strong wills, like two rams butting heads against each other. And I love it. I love the back and forth between their storylines. And, I mean, I could go on for hours talking about Cody and Jericho.
Well, one of the things that I, appreciate about Cody is how one of the things, there's so many, but one of the things that I appreciate about Cody is his ability to tell a story with just his face. He is so expressive, and everything that he's feeling, he's able to bring outward and put onto his face and his mannerisms, and he doesn't even have to speak. I went back and I've rewatched the first episode of Dynamite numerous times, and when Cody comes out, and I get chills talking about it, I get chills watching it, but just look at his face, and he is just, you can see him, and you can see him doing this every time he comes out on Dynamite. He is just taking it all in.
He really does.
And he is just looking at people. I'm getting chills talking about it. Aww. But he is just looking at everybody who's there, everyone, and you can tell how heavy all of that is for him, and how much it means to him to have all of these people supporting his vision.
Absolutely.
And his dream, and what AEW means to us as a community, to him as a wrestler, to him as a businessman, and to him as a fan also. But that's just one thing about him that I notice every time he comes out. He is just, you can tell he's so grateful. He's so thankful. And he's just moved. And that's another thing about him. He doesn't really seem to kind of get used to the chants.
Yeah.
It's like he's hearing it for the first time every time he comes out. And it just, because I'm kind of that way also with my face. You can kind of see where I'm feeling and where I'm at. Based
Absolutely.
on my face, I wear everything very emotionally on my face.
She is very, but that's not a bad thing. That's one thing I love about her.
It's one thing that I think we have in common. So I don't know if maybe that's why I've picked up on it, but it's refreshing to see someone who is still so humble.
Yeah.
I think Cody is a very humble person, and I could talk about it all day.
She can, but I have to agree. He does have those expressions where it's like for an example, whenever you go and you see a live concert, a music concert, when you have music, you're going to automatically have that movement and that feeling inside of you because you've related to that music. But when you see those, guitarists and bassists and drummers and vocalists, enjoying it and seeing their emotion personified while they're making and singing that music, it's like you feel it in like your chest, it's like that pounding you get. And like you said, like when you see Cody come, down the walkway or, into the ring, you see it in his expression. Like you said, like you see it. And it's like, he's like, wow, this is all here. And it's totally different seeing him on screen, kind of soak everything in. Yep.
But then being there live, we went to the AEW live taping in Charleston.
Yes.
And I went by myself to the taping in Charlotte. And just seeing it on TV and being there in person. And I haven't been to a whole lot of like wrestling shows. I've been to a Raw taping. I've been to countless house shows for WWE, but being at an AEW taping was unlike real. And I've been to hundreds of concerts, but being at that taping, I mean, you can almost not describe the energy. I mean, it is palpable. I mean, everybody is just at an excitement level that matches my own, which is which is hard to do because I'm very excitable, and I get very enthusiastic about things, very, very much. So being there live and just seeing all of the reactions and all of the just the energy is
absolutely
insane at these live shows. So if you ever get the chance, if they happen to come near you, I mean, when I went to Charleston, I ended up driving over 4 hours. But then, Charlotte was only about an hour. It took about 3 hours to get there because of traffic, but it's only about an hour from me, but it is so worth the drive to me. I mean, if you're wanting to experience AEW live, if you have any desire to do that, it's worth the drive. The tickets are not that expensive.
I mean, and with wrestling, I mean, they have so many top viewers and screens, and the ring pretty much from almost most of the angles, depending on how they block off the sections, depending on the arena and the venue. I feel like you're always still going to see the match clearly enough to really embrace what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the Civic Center in Charleston is really small, and that's another thing. I feel like a lot of the places they go are kind of smaller.
Yeah.
But the Civic Center in Charleston is really small, and we were actually kind of far back.
Yeah.
But
like our backs were to a wall.
We could still see everything so clearly. There wasn't really, and that's one of the things I like about the Civic Center. And then, the Big Sandy in Huntington, there isn't really a bad seat in the house. So if they do go to, somewhere near you, it may be a smaller venue and you're not going to have a bad seat.
I was about to say, hey, if I can see Jericho clearly, I'm good.
Right.
And I saw him clearly wearing that very loud blazer that he was wearing because it was Halloween.
That pumpkin blazer. Oh, it was glorious.
I was like, oh, baby.
It was so nice. And I got to. And I'll tell you, AEW has created some moments for me that I kind of never thought I would get to experience. I got to see, like I said,
we had Young Bucks 5 feet from us dancing around in the ring right after the Charleston show.
I haven't been to a lot of live events. I'd never seen Jericho wrestle live. I got to see him wrestle in Charlotte. I got to see Kenny Omega twice wrestle. I got to see Hangman twice.
Yep.
I got to see. I've seen Cody wrestle before because he's been at house shows for WWE back when he was with WWE. So I have seen him wrestle, but I got to actually meet Cody in Charlotte, and and we kind of talked about it in the video, but then
before she starts this, I do want to reiterate, I wish you guys could see her face while she's telling you this story. And my biggest regret to date when it comes to wrestling is not being there to see her and support her when she finally got to meet him. But you guys really need to hear this.
Well, because, they tell you to be careful meeting your heroes.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes the experience can be less than what you have envisioned in your mind. You kind of put these people
on a pedestal
at a place where they cannot then achieve what you have in your mind that they should be. And that's, something that's not really fair that we do for people, but I digress. But yes, meeting Cody in Charlotte, he came out, I get so nervous talking about it. After the tapings and the dark matches are over, people from the back, it's typically the Young Bucks. When we were in Charleston, it was the Young Bucks and Kenny
Omega.
In Charlotte, it was SCU and the people that they had been in the dark match with, and Cody was there. So they do their talk and everything. And then, oh wait. So after they say their piece and thank everybody for coming, they typically will then go around the barricade and, sign autographs and meet people. So Cody was, like I said, one of the people in Charlotte who came out after the dark matches, and he's walking around the barricade, and I was actually pretty close. My seats in Charlotte were really close to the ring, so I didn't have far to go to get to the barricade. So I'm at one side of the barricade, and Cody is walking around, and I am losing my absolute mind.
Oh my God, I would have paid money to see that.
Like, not outwardly losing my mind. I'm not like screaming and, saying, "Oh, Cody," I'm not doing any of that.
Like
but
hard
I am internally doing all of those things and absolutely losing it, because Cody is 5 feet from me. So he actually... there are a couple of people who are in front of me who are much taller than me who get to meet Cody, and they take their pictures with him, and then he walks by me. I never told you that part. He walked by me and kept going on around the barricade, and then a security person then told all of us on that side of the barricade that we needed to leave because, we needed to vacate the Coliseum. So instead of leaving, I moved to the other side of the barricade where Cody was still making his way around. And I kind of maneuver my way up because I'm, shorter than most of these people.
Are you like Mission Impossible?
Yes. I am squeezing my way through the best I can. So I finally make it up to the actual barricade, and Cody is in the process of, talking to people. And that's one of the things that I love about getting to see the ends of shows.
Yes.
Because and the ends of matches at house shows and even live tapings when they're, cutting to a commercial, you get to see the wrestlers and other people interact with the fans who are in the front row area. And I've talked about this numerous times going to WWE house shows, but Kofi Kingston is one of the nicest, most genuine people. I met him, I think it was 2009. I met Kofi. I went to a house show in Huntington, and my sister-in-law was with me, and we were kind of at the back watching all the people come in. And Cody was there also, but he never came over. But I don't even think we saw him go in. But Kofi was the only person who came over to the barricade. And he was over there for at least 10 or 15 minutes, signing autographs, taking pictures of people. And then, this past year, I went to another house show in Huntington, and he, this was when he was champion. And so he had the main event match, and he and Xavier came, and they were signing autographs. Kofi was even recording videos with people because you could see him on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
After the show. And they spent at least 30 minutes after the show signing autographs, talking to people. They even came out because I was in the upper area at the Civic Center, and they even came over to the people in the upper areas, and I got high fives by Kofi and Xavier before they left. I mean, it was amazing. So getting to see that kind of stuff is really kind of nice because you hear these things about wrestlers through social media or whatever, and you get this impression of what they must be like in real life. Like I've heard numerous stories about Randy Orton and Roman Reigns and other people,
Jericho.
Yeah, but then you see them after these matches at house shows they've just wrestled for 15 minutes sometimes. And then after that, they get out of the ring and they make a round around the barricade and spend at least 5 minutes, signing autographs and taking pictures for people and making moments special for the people who go there. Even more so than getting to experience, the whole thing live is as far as being special. So I'm off way on a tangent.
But she deserves it. I mean, when it comes down to it, I really wanted people to hear that, because I really want to let everyone know, as we develop pin-ups and pinfalls, as we were developing that we are not just doing this to, I guess, get like fame or popularity or a reputation. No. That there's passion, and I hope we have more stories like that, for at any part this year.
Yeah.
Because my main goal is to hopefully see a lot more of our local wrestling shows this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we are going to go see an AEW show.
Another one.
Yeah, another one. Unfortunately, I know we probably will not be able to do the Chicago one because,
sold out.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's the raffle, but going back to actually meeting Cody, because I got way off on a tangent.
Oh, Kofi. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
Just because I think Kofi is absolutely phenomenal. And I think he's such a nice human. He deserves all the shout outs. But going back to actually meeting Cody, when he got to me, he did this with every person that I saw him interacting with at the barricade. He looked them in the face, and he's got a very intense stare. So he's one of those people, kind of like when they tell stories about The Rock. When he's looking at you, you're listening. All he's looking at, and you're all that he sees. And I completely got that from him with the way he was interacting with people. And then when he was interacting with me, I apologize so much, Cody. I have no idea what I said to the man. I was not speaking coherently at all, I don't think. He asked me how I was doing.
And he called you sweetheart.
He called me sweetheart. He said, "How are you doing, sweetheart?" And I about melted on the floor. But
and then later walking
because
away.
here is this person that I have looked up to and respected and just
admired
him, followed his career. Cody was always one of my absolute favorite wrestlers in WWE. I was just so drawn to his charisma, his attitude, his moveset, just his everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And now to be where we are now with what he's done with AEW, his time in New Japan, his time in ROH, he has absolutely. And I used to be a little more reserved when I would talk about, because people always ask, who are your top 5 favorite wrestlers? Who would be on your Mount Rushmore? Cody has been on that list for a very long time. And, it's so nice to see him becoming a part of more people's lists. Because I get excited when people now see in him what I saw in him 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So getting to finally meet him, he asked me how I was doing. I'm pretty sure I said, I'm good, but I'm kind of dying right now. I don't really know what I said to him. I did ask him for a picture. It's my pinned tweet on Twitter. It looks awful.
And guys, her hand was shaking so bad.
And that's why it looks as bad as it does, because I was there by myself.
It's photoshopped.
No. So my hand was shaking so much, like the focus is all wrong. And I was just an absolute mess. Like I had no one there reminding me to breathe. So here I am not breathing, something we're supposed to do naturally. And now I'm being asked to hold my phone, stand literally shoulder to shoulder with Cody, and take a picture. Like, it was very difficult. So then after I take a picture with him, I do tell him it is such an honor to meet him. And I'm so thankful that I actually got the opportunity to meet him. I leave and somehow make my way to the stairs where I almost fall, because I'm at this point almost hyperventilating. I almost pass out.
Yeah.
I have to kind of stop myself in the middle of all of this, hustle and bustle of people leaving the show, going to the merch table, and just kind of take a moment
trying to absorb it
myself, because I have just met one of my heroes, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, and it was a lot. It was a moment that I will never forget. And there are things that I have mentioned to Kira and maybe one other person, but that night has kind of put things in my mind that I really, in 2020 or whenever it happens, that night and seeing that show and meeting Cody has put in my mind things that I want to set in motion for myself.
Yes.
As a goal that is super secret right now. Like I said, only a couple people kind of know about it and are helping
secrets,
me,
y'all.
and
Good secrets.
and are helping me with so kindly. They are offering their time to give me advice and tell me what I need to do to move forward. But it and I'll look back on it as something that was absolutely life-changing for me. Getting to meet Cody has changed the way I want to. It's changed the direction I want for my life.
Yeah.
So I'm eternally grateful.
Yay.
And if one day I ever get to tell him that, hopefully I can.
So I know you guys can't see my face or anything, but
that's a long story.
But Talise really lights up. I mean, she really does. And one of the big things is, and I know the inflection comes across because she's very passionate when it comes to wrestlers that she admires and looks up to. And, like she says, that it's not so much that, you're like stalking somebody who you're obsessed with or anything crazy like that. It's the people that you're like, you take time out of your day to be like, I want to see what this person's doing. Are they doing a show? Are they doing view, a meet and greet? What are they doing? But it's an entertainment value that you get from people that are in the light that you enjoy. I mean, whether it's a book or a movie, a wrestler or anything like that, maybe in a future podcast down the road, if we cover movies or anything, I'll tell you, I got to meet one of my childhood heroes.
Oh man.
It's
a good story.
It's a good story. But he's more an actor. He never did wrestling
that we know of.
Yeah, well, very true, very true. But one of the things I really wanted to hear her tell that story also, because it's like I said, it's we're doing this because this is something we love, and you know what? I get to sit and talk about wrestling with my best friend.
I know,
and
it's so great,
and I love it.
Yay.
And the fact that we know we have people out there that reach out to us and say, "Oh, I loved it." It's like a huge, like, warm feeling because I'm like, oh, they didn't think, we were.
I've literally been on cloud 9 since, since meeting Cody back in November, and even now,
yes,
it's just kind of this high that won't really go away.
But it's a wonderful snowballing effect, in all honesty, because we do. I do want to say we do encourage feedback. We do encourage comments. We do encourage opinions. We want everyone to feel comfortable with saying and voicing what they want to. Right. We understand that most of the platforms we are on are social media. So everyone's entitled to their opinion. Do we have to always like it? No, but we can't take the good without taking the constructive. Right. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to do with this, is really go in with an open mind. I want to be able to hear other people's sides, on if I discuss my reasoning on what, a storyline or how a turn I think is going to go, and somebody wants to say something different. Absolutely. I want to hear that. I want to see how other people are, absorbing these storylines.
It's all about perspective. And I think one of the wonderful things about, because I mostly have been kind of focused on sharing and trying to get, people on my Twitter to kind of support us. And I have got to say, I have been in different communities throughout my time on Twitter, and the community that I have as followers and that I engage with on Twitter are some of the nicest, most genuinely sweet people that I've ever come across. I mean, there are, some people that I could shout out all day long. You know who you are. I tell you constantly just how sweet and supportive and encouraging you are.
I love it.
And I just think that these people who are taking the time to comment, to watch, to give that constructive feedback are exactly what we need. I mean, you are truly helping to build us up as people, because I have not always been the most confident. Oh, that's probably an understatement. I've not always been the most confident
Big understatement
person.
But she's the introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the extrovert, but
if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, sorry.
It's very clear. But they're helping build me up as a person, to make me more confident in my opinions and my stances on things. I still have my days where I waver on things. I'm like, I'm not really sure if I should tweet that. That might cause some waves. I don't really want to cause any controversy or anything like that, because I'm trying to, with my Twitter, bring just positivity and show a side of social media that you don't really. I think I see it a lot. People talk about the negativity and the toxicity of Twitter and social media. I see that sometimes on my Twitter, and it is really, ugly.
It's alarming,
and it's really
too.
disheartening to see people tweeting about things they love and people they're passionate about, and to have them cut down and, insulted in such a way that that's not what I want to bring to Twitter. I think everyone has a reason that their favorite is their favorite. I mean, Cody, years ago, when I would talk about him being my favorite wrestler, was sometimes met with, just kind of scoffs and, people who didn't like that opinion and were not very nice about it. But I have my reasons. I have that's one of the things that I love about wrestling, is that there's so many different personalities. There's so many different intensities in wrestlers, that there really is somebody for everyone to connect with, I think. And once you've made a connection with a wrestler, you can't really ever turn it off.
No.
Unless they do something, very, very egregious. But it's really hard to kind of explain when you have such a connection to a wrestler, why they're your favorite. And here I am talking about Cody.
I'm sorry. You guys, if you guys saw my face right now, when she turned and looked at my face, she started laughing, because I'm just sitting here smiling at her, because I'm not going to lie. It's a pleasure for me to see her coming out of her shell and really being passionate and talking. And because, we really want to share this podcast to the fullest with you, and just seeing her really come out of her shell and being comfortable and listening to her. It's amazing. Because I don't talk a lot. She really doesn't. But when it comes to wrestling, she could go on. I go on hours, and on. But she's got to know you. Right. Yeah. and I've been trying to work on that, like through my Twitter, and building up, these relationships with these people who are now some of our biggest supporters, which is so wonderful. And I cannot at all express my gratitude. I hope it's coming across just how thankful we are. Yes, absolutely. So we've got about 10 more minutes. This podcast was made in 2 parts.
Because we're like I said, we're green as green.
I know, we're green. We're not handling this very well.
Ooh,
learning curves, but
but thankfully, I know quite a few people who have podcasts, who have a lot of knowledge about podcasts. And before we even started this podcast, I asked at least 3 or 4 people who I follow, who I consider friends, how, any advice they would give someone who wanted to start a podcast. And all of that advice was so wonderful and well received. And I, have it all somewhere in the back of my brain.
I thought one of the best pieces of advice that we kept getting, we did get more once, was don't worry about taking notes. Have plenty of notes.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to come off as scripted. I guess that was my biggest fear, was coming off as scripted. But everyone's like, no, have notes. Absolutely.
It keeps you kind of at a flow.
It keeps you at a flow, because then I guess if you go off on a tangent or you go off on a really good point,
we have no idea what those are.
Here we are with 2 parts to the first podcast.
Oh, man.
But I really feel like what Talise said earlier about being appreciative, I know we're probably, saying it over and over and over, but we really mean it. We are just 2 women from West Virginia who wanted to do something together about something we're passionate about. And we really hope that you all follow us on this journey. Through everything, through Twitter. Talisa's handle is at myluna42. My handle is at KC as in cat N 84. And of course you can follow us at pinups underscore pinfalls on Twitter. And then you can also, if you were interested, you can email us at pinups.pinfalls@gmail.com. That email basically is set up for anybody who has recommendations of future discussions, anything.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, even if
feedback,
you guys
constructive,
want to add us on Twitter or even put in comments on the videos things that you want us to talk about, any questions you might have, I mean, you can ask us pretty much anything. We will choose whether or not we answer it or not. We don't have to answer your questions.
Let's keep it adult and respectful, everyone.
Let's try. But, going back to something you were saying that made me think of, something else. Wrestling, you were talking about us being passionate about wrestling, and that's kind of why we want to do the podcast and the YouTube and be part of the wrestling internet community through Twitter and other means, through Facebook,
Instagram. God, there's so many platforms.
Yeah, I don't do Instagram, but
I do.
Wrestling for me has always been just such an escape, and the last few years have really been kind of challenging for me in a lot of ways personally. And if it weren't for, don't get misty.
I'm about to start crying, guys.
I may cry because there are just some people that really deserve to be recognized by me. And you will see me tweet about them a lot. I am a huge fan of Cultaholic. They used to be, I don't know if I can even name redacted, but they, started their channel a couple years ago. And during that time period, I was going through a lot of things personally that were very challenging, took me to places,
not happy places, guys.
Yeah. And if it was not for Cultaholic, and interacting with them through Twitter, and, in the comments on their YouTube videos and just their channel, I mean, they really, you hear people talk about people who have helped them when they've been, depressed or just in a really bad place. That people that you've never met, people that might not even know you exist, like they have no idea the impact they've had on people's lives.
Absolutely.
But Cultaholic for me really had a huge impact on my life in the most positive way. They helped me get through a lot of things. And, that's another thing. They are people that I would one day they're on my list of people that I have to meet, because I have to in some way communicate.
And where are they located?
I got to get to England, or they need to come over here and go to a wrestling event. They've been to WrestleMania. So
that's my newfound goal.
It's possible.
Is to save up enough for you to get a plane ticket so you can fly over there.
Yeah, just, and, just to in some way communicate to them what they have meant to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have interacted with several of them, actually all of them on Twitter in one way, shape, or form. But just, I mean, I'm forever, eternally grateful for Cultaholic and their content and their interactions on Twitter, because they really did, you know, kind of help pull me back out of a place where I was a couple of years ago. So that's another reason that I kind of want to, you know, get into this, and it's something that I do want to pursue.
Yeah.
Because not only is it something I'm passionate about, it is something that this just world of wrestling has kind of saved me in a lot of ways. Not to sound, you know,
Macabre
super brooding
yeah,
or, you know,
yeah.
cliche, but it really has.
But, you know, I'm glad that she brought this up because, you know, everyone needs to bring awareness to, you know, not everyone has a good day. Not everyone has a good week.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has a good month.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has a good year. But you know what? I agree with what Tilly said. Sometimes you just got to reach out and say thank you. That even
Mm-hmm.
though there's, you know, people, places, and, you know, social media platforms that may have impacted somebody, they may not know. But, you know, to just show that recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm sure that, you know, one day you really are going to be able to express that. And I really hope that I'm there or can know about it to hold you up, baby. But, you know, guys, I want to say thank you so much for listening in.
Sorry, I took that somewhere.
No,
I took that to a place.
No, you know, got to make ourselves, you know, familiar. We want to make ourselves relatable. You know, we don't want to put ourselves on a pedestal. We want to be like everyone else because you know what? We are everyone else. We both put our legs in the same pants holes just like everyone else, you know?
Or my tights.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really do pants.
Yeah, very true.
Wear a lot of tights and dresses.
But thank you again, guys. We really do want to say thank you again for listening in. And we are going to hopefully upload a podcast once a week. If time allows, you know, maybe
in distance.
Yeah, in distance.
We are far away from each other.
Maybe we can do, you know, a little bit more, but we're going to try to start out slow, you know, and hopefully build up into it. But again, you know, just thank you. Yes. Absolutely. Big thank you from Pinups and Pinfalls.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for listening. Enjoy Wrestle Kingdom.
Whoop, whoop.